So, should you bulk or should you cut? But wait. Who even am I? My name is Muhammad and I've been training for over 3 years now, consistently. This is what I currently look like. And I've made some good progress, right? But should you bulk or should you cut? This is probably the question that you've had for a very long time because, after you've been on this like journey for quite a while, training, building your gym physique and all, it sometimes gets a bit confusing, right? Like, should I go on a bulk or should I go on a cut? And like, you're really confused and like, you don't want to waste time, right? So, the answer to this question always comes down to your situation and your body fat, right? But still, it does get tricky sometimes, right? But first of all, I just want you to do something. Never ever waste your time doing like a main gaining, right? Don't waste your time about with like main gaining and all, right? Never do that. Bulking and cutting are the way, right? Keep that in mind. Bulking and cutting are the way, right? Don't ever think about anything else, main gaining or whatever. No, bulking and cutting, right? And bro, if you'd like me to personally coach you, you can send me a DM on Instagram. But anyways, you hear people talking about that you should cut until you see your abs, right? So then you can go on a bulk, right? But if you're skinny fat, cutting won't make you see your abs. If you keep cutting, you will not see your abs. If you're skinny fat, you won't see your abs. So you'll be cutting, and you'll see no progress, and you might give up, right? Because you've been following the advice, but there's no progress, right? And this is why it gets tricky because for someone who's skinny fat, for example, he doesn't have enough muscle for them like to show and look good when he's lean. Because bro, you might have this misconception, right? Where that being shredded is just like, dieting down, losing fat, and you're good, right? But that's not the case. To look good shredded, you have to have built a good amount of muscle, which is by bulking, right? But now let's get back to our main topic, right? Should you currently bulk or cut, right? If you're fat, like genuinely fat, obese and all, obviously cut, right? But now, if you're not like really shredded and lean and all that, but you're not really fat, I would say you should go on a bulk, right? Especially if you're like in your first years of lifting, right? Go on a bulk, right? If you're skinny, go on a bulk. If you're skinny fat, but when it comes to being skinny fat, it's a big spectrum, right? There's the people with like really fat who think they're skinny fat, but they're actually a bit fat, right? If you're like really fat on the higher like end, go on a cut, right? Like a mini cut, and then start bulking. But if you're like, pretty lean, right? You just might have like some little fat, just go on a bulk, right? Forget the fat because the skinny fat, like, it's a trap. You're not lean, you're not shredded, you have some extra fat, but at the same time you're small, like in clothes and all you look skinny. But you're not like shredded, right? You should still go on a bulk, right? But still, sometimes it is still confusing, right? You don't know what to actually do, right? You don't know like your current situation, right? But anyways, if you're watching this video, you most probably should bulk, right? As most like, most of the beginners who like are watching these videos and like, when they should bulk or cut, most of them should bulk, right? Unless you're genuinely fat. If you're genuinely fat, go on a cut and then go on a bulk, right? And now, why do I emphasize the bulk so much? And that's because bulking is so important because think about it. For someone to be shredded and looking, all good and all that, right? You need to have a good amount of muscle because, bro, if you don't have a good amount of muscle, you look skinny, right? And you want to look shredded. Looking shredded is not by just losing fat. No. You need to have the muscle to look good shredded, right? And how do you achieve this good amount of muscle? It's by bulking, right? And that's it. If you'd like me to personally coach you when it comes to your fitness journey, DM me on Instagram. And that's it.